getting ready for this era in time. These supply chain shortages, economic, famine, crisis situation, geopolitical conflicts, pandemics, all of that stuff that's been happening the last 2 years. I've been preparing for that. Like, I didn't know it was going to be called COVID. A lot of people, and I'm not special.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Sawadee Krupp. I'm Steven, and this is my video log, The Psy American.
So one thing I've been asked several times, quite often actually, coming back here from people I knew or used to know in the US, they're like, so you're back here permanently, are you? Or are you back here permanently, or what's the deal? And for me, my answer is nothing is permanent, really. And I mean, literally, nothing is permanent. And especially, trying to think about planning routes in the US. I mean, considering all modern day context, US is probably one of the hardest countries that I'm aware of. I'm sure, let me take that back. It's in my own perspective, US is not an easy place at all to set your roots and get grounded here. I mean, anybody who can do that or put it in for the long haul in this country really means they've already got like a good starting point. You've got land or assets that you've inherited, and you've got plenty of money and capital in the bank, and or either one of those, both of those, really. But just to come here and like pursue this American dream about getting established and then saving money and doing something, it's just not happening. I mean, you're gonna end up renting really expensive somewhere, and unless you have a special niche skill or position, you're really gonna be struggling day to day to live in this country. I mean, yeah, you gotta work hard and put in your time. Yeah, that's true. But it's a lot easier in a lot of other places in this world. So, what do you think about that? You agree? Hi.
You guys are on camera.
Oh yeah. So I was just thinking, this time 21 years ago, actually to date, I don't know, to exact date, to month, August 21, 2001, 21 years ago. I was in the US, and I was in a very similar mind state as I am now, 21 years later. And my mind was set on my plans to return to Thailand. In fact, actually, the first time I was in Thailand was July 2001, so exactly 21 years ago. And I came back on the plane, and I knew on that plane trip, it was Thai Airways, Bangkok to LA, and ultimately I would take LA to Denver. I knew that I was coming back to Thailand. I needed to go back to Thailand. Thailand was still calling me back. And so that was 21 years ago. And suffice to say, now, 2022, I booked my ticket back to Thailand here at the end of this year. I have plans to return there October-ish, as much as I'll say. Both of us, actually. And so nothing's permanent, even Thailand, I'm going, and I should be returning back to the U.S., but, who knows what's going on this fall, this winter. There's a lot of unknowns or a lot of speculation of what's going on, and it's not just free flow, move as you can as it was 21 years ago. You've got to make conscious decisions and live with those decisions. As far as establishing strong roots, I know I have a lot more prospects and better base in Thailand as far as land and freedom. I can leverage my time a little bit better for the long term compared to the U.S. now. We're a family unit here. His mom and his older brother, and they've got a lot of stuff going on for them right now, as of now here. And other than that, it's a struggle. I'll say that much. It's a struggle. And we picked a nice part of the U.S. to reside for now. This is, Southwest Colorado. And there's a lot to see and do, and the people are generally nice here. And the community is generally warm, and there's not that much dangers as there would be in other places in this country, like in a big inner city somewhere. But there are other things going on, like there's always a bear threat. Not during the winter, obviously, but the winter's another thing, power outages, food shortages, supply chain, and not having that stability and that base of owning a piece of land, or at least, no one really owns land, to be honest, but not having that land that I can make decisions on and establish strong roots in here is one of the biggest factors. It's like, well, yeah, people who don't realize this, who haven't come to this, realize this, oh, you could just work hard and pay your rent and then just keep on living paycheck to paycheck, like many tens of millions of people do, not only in the US but everywhere. And so it's not the life I came back to, really, to live that kind of lifestyle. And then hopefully one day I'll get ahead of myself and be able to breathe. No, I was meant to be a landlord, a land developer, a farmer, and it's just not, really happening at this moment in the U.S. But, I'm not leaving the U.S. for good. I'm going on a round trip. I'm not getting anything done with this guy over here, huh? You got something to say to the camera? Say it. Yeah! You ready to go back to Thailand? Yeah? Where do you want to go? Who are you going to see in Thailand? Who? You can't speak? Cat got your tongue? Huh? Yeah. Well, we got some family and friends that will keep us occupied. And my main thing is I got to keep him engaged. And, with my current job obligations, and, it's good one side that I'm working remotely, so I have more flexibility to father him, but a lot of trade-offs, in order to make it work, I'm having to sacrifice, and, we have to do things I don't really want to do, especially in regards to modern technology and TVs and iPhones and all that other stuff. And so, there's a lot of distractions here. And so, anyway, just wanted to share you with that much. But let this guy whack. Who's coming? Who's over there? Who's over there? Huh? ใครมาเลย รู้จักไหมคนนี้รู้จักไหม เอาไปหาเลยไปเกาะเลยไม่มีเกาะเลยเอา So yeah, flying back to Thailand from the US here in a few months' time, and at least initially I'll probably most likely be returning to the US at the end of the year again, or I may have to postpone depending on my business back in Thailand for a few months. But anything could happen, and I could end up getting stuck in Thailand. But there's no other place in the world I'd rather get stuck in, including the US. I could get stuck in the US here, depending how things come and turn out in the next month here. But I would much rather get stuck in Thailand. We'll just say that. And so I got a lot. I would love it, someday if I had the money and time and energy to establish roots here in this great old country, but obviously not in any cities, not in any restrictive counties, or people are all up in your business. None of that. Obviously, I would just want to live with the land, like our forefathers in this country did. They live with the land, live off the land, live for the land, and their people, their tribe, their family, their circle. And there's not much of that opportunity for me here. Not to say, like I said, other people who have this huge trust fund and this land or whatever, or they worked 20, 30 years to make it happen, and they were able to get their own pocket of freedom on some land somewhere that they could plant, roots, literally build a house. Yeah, that's there for a lot of people in America. Right now, I don't see it for me at the moment. I'll keep an open mind about everything moving forward, but turns out, the decisions I made 3-4 years ago in Thailand, staking out some land, and getting ready for this era in time, this time of these supply chain shortages, this economic famine crisis situation, geopolitical conflicts, pandemics, all of that stuff that's been happening the last 2 years. I've been preparing for that already. Not like I didn't know it was going to be called COVID. A lot of people, not me, I'm not special. Just, some of the intelligence that I subscribed to 10 years ago, that my common sense said, yes, what they are saying is very valid. And like I said, no one back then 10 years ago said, oh, it's going to be this coronavirus that's going to initiate everything. But there was a lot of intelligent people that saw this coming, miles ahead. And people were starting to warn people 10 years ago that, hey, you better get your act together. You better get your roots planted somewhere. Get everything ready, your sovereignty, your ability, your skills, your health. You need to get all that in order. And so I started that, Probably didn't really get momentum going until about 6-7 years ago. 5 years ago, I would say. And I started that. But of course, maintaining, corporate existence and living in the city on the grid, you get distracted and slowed down. And I'm still in that pocket to an extent, but I have options. And that's the whole key that I wanted to push forward, is no matter what you do, your progress, the direction you're going, it's always good to have options, to never burn your bridges anywhere, and to plant seeds. These are figurative seeds for life. Seeds we refer to options that, could one day, when you need them to, germinate and sprout into little seedlings and saplings, figuratively speaking, in terms of life options and sustainability and living with the earth and on the earth for the earth, So that's the direction I'm heading for now. Like I said, if nothing stops me, then my trajectory will see me back in this country, and we'll see the next year or 2 years. But ultimately, short of anything major happen, and there's always a lot of things that could very well happen in the next year, 2-3 years here. I'm ultimately probably not going to be settling down in the U.S. either. I'm probably ultimately going to be going to where I've already established some strong roots. And that, my friends, is back in the land of Siam, Thailand. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. I've been a lot of times, reading a lot lately and reminiscing and reflecting. Haven't been journaling as much as I would like to have, but of course there's this vlog here, so I can kind of just free flow some of my thoughts to you here in nice places around the US. But yeah, my heart and my compass is still pointing to the same place it was 21 years ago to date. I'm going to leave it at that and catch up again soon. This is the Silent American.